It's time to review an early career designer's portfolio. I'm Megan Thomas, and I'm a senior UX designer with over 9 years of experience, mostly in enterprise software, but also with startups. And I've also done a lot of contract work, so I've seen companies big and small. I've also taught 3 cohorts of the UX UI bootcamp at UC Berkeley, a 6-month/24-week UX UI bootcamp where we go through UX research, UX design, UI design, information architecture, web development, all of it, you name it. I've had the privilege of teaching and mentoring over 300 early career designers as they make a career shift into the UX industry. I'm particularly excited about mentoring early career designers, and I started this portfolio review series because I don't see anything like it out there. My goal with this review is to share my impression of the portfolio, what I see as a senior designer, and give some actionable feedback for things that you can do to improve your portfolio as you look for a job in the UX industry. I do this in a very stream of consciousness kind of way. I share my screen. It's like a cognitive walkthrough. I will talk through what I see and what I'm thinking as I go through at least one case study. Now remember, my opinion is just mine. And I think you should get at least 3 opinions on your portfolio before making any major changes. I would also love to encourage any designer of any level to weigh in on this video and on my portfolio review, because I think this is how we learn together. I believe a rising tide lifts all boats, so let's succeed together. All right, with that, let's get started. Hey friends, today we are looking at the portfolio of Komal Rayo, and I am thrilled to tell you that I've recently met Komal, and she joined the UX Social Club to come hang out with some cool people, and I'd love if you joined us too. I'll put the link down below. Actually, you can join if you come to the Patreon, which I will also link below. It's $1 a month, and you get to hang out with me and all the cool people in the UX Social Club Slack group, but you also get all of the content that is available in the Patreon right now. Let's get started. Hello world, I'm Komal Rayo. First of all, I don't know why, but I love geeky stuff that is just pointing out, I'm a little bit of a techie, I'm a little bit of a nerd. Sure, we could be like, hi, I'm Komal Rayo. Normally you see the wave emoji and the name, so I actually like that this is a little different. Also, I love that you bring the software development background into being a UX designer. It is literally one of the best things, one of the things that helped me get my first jobs in the industry, past my first job, which was front-end developer and UX designer. Past that, I really was competing against a ton of other people, and I'm not even that level. My second job after a couple years in a position, it's tough. So being able to stand out and telling other people that you know software development, that you have an understanding of how design and engineering are handed off, how to work with other engineers, this is all fantastic. So I love that you featured this first. Also, your illustration here, your animation here is precious. I love it. All right, so it's a simple layout. You've only got 2 case studies on here, and that is fantastic. I love that you kept it simple. There's nothing terribly exciting that needs to happen on your portfolio. It's literally, remember, this is your calling card just to make sure that you get an interview. It doesn't have to be your entire life story. So this is interesting that it starts with my story, and I have to be honest, this title might make people skim past it because this sounds really terrible, but people are going to be like, I don't have time to read your story. I'm just trying to see whether or not I want to interview you. So you might say project my story, app design my story. This looks like it is a tablet app. So I would start and kind of indicate in some way that this is an app. This is a project name, not just an about you. So also I'm super curious. I'm just going to be nosy. I'm going to look at page source. Did you build this or did you use okay, it's Squarespace. I was about to say, because if you wrote all of the code yourself, that is super impressive and also not necessary for a UX designer. This looks good. Travel tales, travel, play, eat, and do much more with your pets wherever you go. All right. I don't know. Oh, wait, view more. There's more. There's more. Delta Rescue, website redesign, improving. Okay, so it's coming soon. That's why it's below there. What do we got? Does this open in the same? All right. 4 weeks, tools, user researcher, UX, UI designer. It's a travel companion for pet parents to find pet friendly stays and activities. I'd probably make this a little bit bigger. This is less important, so I would switch that over to the side and then add travel tales at like just the app overview right here. That'd be perfect. This looks really good. I love the slick mock-up. It's beautiful. I wonder if it's possible to make that fit across the entire thing instead of just here in the middle, which is totally fine because it actually meets like your website bounds and people expect like content to be in the center. That's fine. I just didn't know if maybe, no, it would kind of mess with your white space and like the spacing of everything. Don't worry about that. Ignore me. All right. Problem space. If you live in the United States, you're very likely to own a pet or know someone who does. Most of these pet owners also like traveling with them, but find it challenging to look for pet-friendly stays and activities for their furry friends. Okay, according to Pet Ownership, love that you linked to the content. It's wonderful that you can tell me data. Where'd you get the data? How do I know for sure that you're not just making up? 72% of statistics are made up on the spot. I just made that one up. Although it's probably not totally wrong. Owned a pet as of 2022. Travel with their pets. Does this go anywhere? Ooh, oh, okay. It opens the picture. That's cool. No problem. But I love that you have the stats that you're linking to. I'd probably break this up right here because yes, online research. Here's the problem with filling the space full width in your portfolio. This is too much screen space for most people. So I think there are some regulations, if I recall correctly. One of the, not regulations, no regulations. Unfortunately, there are no regulations. There are suggestions. And I think it was something like 77 to like 200 characters. Somewhere in there is a really comfortable reading length. So with font size this small, I'm not saying it's too small. I'm saying that it might be a long way for folks to read. So maybe you can break it up. Not all of your content needs to fit all the way across the screen. However, I can also understand because you have these statistics balanced here in the middle, feels like maybe if you shorten this, it'll throw a little wonkiness into the layout. So that's something that you need to balance. It might be that you actually need to or might want to consider increasing the font size. This is, let's see, looky. Why am I font style? Why am I struggling? Font size. Oh, it's a calc. Okay, so interesting. Okay, well, first of all, go Squarespace for using calc. We cover that in the blended version of the bootcamp, which is very advanced for UX designers. So this is very interesting. 1.2 viewport width plus 1 rem. Interesting. So it's basing the size on the width of the screen, which is fine, but that means, does this get bigger? No, it stays reasonably. That's interesting. But it is responsive. So that means that you might run into some issues if you try to make this fit into a smaller width of space. I'm harping on space. It's beautiful. It actually looks like it has really nice space. Feels like this maybe could be a little bigger. How might we improve the travel planning process for pet owners such that they can enjoy their time with their pets, exploring different locations while also focusing on their pet's care and needs? This is really well worded. I feel like you've had someone review the content to make sure that it flows nicely. This is better worded than a lot of early career designers. Most people, and I am not calling out anyone specifically, I just think it's most people, they don't proofread. People have assumptions for some reason that they're doing great, that their spelling and their grammar and they've never made any typos and that it's like one shot, one kill, it's done. Y'all need to go back and read because not everybody's flows this nicely. And it's really important to make a good impression, not just because of, meeting people's expectations. I know that there's a little elitism to being able to spell perfectly and have perfect grammar, especially if English is your second or third language. That has to be tough. It's my first language and I still struggle. But this is just kind of like a note to everyone out there. Have a second person read it thoroughly and ask you questions. If they don't understand something, explain it better. Komal, I think this is a little too light. Something that I've recently been enjoying is this little doohickey. Hopefully, like I can't tell if this is being recorded, but technically this is the same window. So I'm using the inspector. Actually, let me pop it back into the window just so nobody gets stressed out. But this right here is something that allows you to check out the accessibility of things. So it's not telling me that that is inaccessible. I was wondering about this. Yeah, so that does not actually, so I cannot click on this and then move my mouse around, but it says strong color font accessibility, and the contrast is only 1.41. So that color is too light in order to pass even at this font size. So you're going to want to make that header a little bit darker, a little bit more impactful, because it's not passing basic accessibility right there. So if you haven't tried it, this little indicator, I don't even know what to call this icon, but it's in the top left. It's right beside where you would toggle the device toolbar. So select an element to inspect it. So very fun, right? Right. All right, where are we at? Online research shows that the pandemic has led to an increase in the number of households with pets. I'm positive you said exactly that up here. So don't repeat that. More and more pet owners are now looking for places to travel. More and more pet owners are now looking for places to travel. This looks like you're using the exact same content. So either refine this to say something different, or should I prioritize pet owned a pet? Okay, yeah. Hey, if you've done these over here, finding pet-friendly hotels, they often worry about their pet safety and needs. Yeah. Okay, so these aren't metrics that you can show, but you can definitely call that out a little bit stronger. Maybe indent this a little bit. And more importantly, there are many ways to plan your travels. Why don't they apply to all kinds of pets? Don't be bringing your snake on vacation. I will lose it. Enhance the experience of traveling with pets. Let's tighten this up too. So like ultimately, I hope to cater to all kinds of pets. Delete that. We don't need any aspirational stuff here. We want to know what you did. So I would like to enhance the experience of traveling with pets by ensuring reliable. Okay, so we want to enhance the experience. I believe that that along with this, providing pet care information and streamlining all the information related to a specific travel will be key factors. Yeah, I would take off this last sentence and it should be fine. This is a great visual. It is also, oh, nice. And you can increase the image. Anybody who has this on their website and you cannot click into an image, you're making things inaccessible. Now, the problem that I would see here is, again, we're not terribly worried about whether or not your hiring manager has color vision deficiency, but just as a reminder, if we have complex images with, let me just go ahead and look it up here. So WCAG, it's not active images, it is informative images. Have I looked this up recently? You betcha. You should always be able to look it up. All right, so let me open both of these because I don't remember which one of them I needed. But conveying impression. So this is saying, oh, there's information in here. So notes, you could provide the instructions within the main content rather than text. But you can also consider adding a complex, that's not it. Functional images, where's the one that shows a complex text alternative, basically a more extended alt text. So let's go back and double check that this has an alt text. And it doesn't look like it does. If I inspect it, it's fluid image overlay. Now, that's a Squarespace issue, not a you issue. So the only thing you can do about this is, I believe, because I have a Squarespace site as well, I believe you should be able to alter or edit the alt text for the image. And I would highly suggest putting problems that pet travelers face, 40%, 47% not finding pet-friendly places to stay and eat. Give that information in the image. Even if you don't have a hiring manager who has a vision deficiency or a vision disability, I want to make sure you know that they can look at this and they will go, did you consider accessibility? And since it doesn't appear that you did, this is something that they would, it's not like a check mark on the list, but it's something that they might be aware of and consider. Let's see. You narrowed down users who would fit the Travel Tales user profile. I would even break that out into a separate sentence just to like maintain some balance, but make it easier to process short rows of text. This is really good. You came up with a structure for my interview and identified key questions to ask. Found a diverse set of pet parents aged 18 to 55. This is really nice. You've told me that you created an interview summary. You've told me you've done all of the prep work to create interviews, and you didn't show me like step by step through how to do it. You know how to do it. You just explained what you did. Quotes from some users, maybe not some users, maybe give some outstanding quotes, things that really landed for me, things that made me think, how am I going to incorporate a solution for this person? Why is this a quote that you chose? Tell me more. To recapitulate, now I don't even know if I remember. Let's look that up. Oh. Summarize and state again. Okay. Capitulating to me is like giving in. So it's really interesting that recapitulate. Maybe we're going to take a side trip. Cease to resist. Yeah, to give in. Interesting that recapitulate is actually to summarize. Who knew? Now we do. They do spend enormous time finding information. They wish for pet-friendly stays, frustrated with exorbitant charges, find activities, locate pet care and supplies. Yeah. Competitor analysis and market gap. Pet-friendly, bring Fido, dog-centric. Again, we've got an image here that it might be helpful to provide this as logos and this content, the word content, just beside it. So if that feels like something that you can come bring back together, that's cool. Persona and user journey map. All right, there's a lot of space in here. Like I know you have good white. Oh, it might be because this image has extra white space at the top. Okay. Let's see. All right, so this is ooh, I would separate these out. Again, these are teeny tiny little things. If someone doesn't notice that there's a second image, this is helpful, but it might also be easy to scroll past. So notice that. Find out if anybody has not seen your user journey map. Let's see. Love traveling with my cats. Oh my God, my cats would murder me. Very cool. Travel destinations. This brings a little concern because, what does 4 dots mean to you versus me? Because like I love road trips, but I also only take one every 5 years. And Caroline Smith might actually take a road trip every 2 months. And like that's a real different love of road trips, but that quantifiable amount, this is just a Likert scale, Likert. If you want to look that up, we are always using them wrong, I promise. This is not useful information, and it causes some hiring managers who have built personas to wonder how much research went into this persona. So not that I'm saying you should redo it, but it is something to consider, especially anyone else who's watching. This isn't an ideal kind of data point to include on a persona. Goals and pain points, unable to locate vets. Also, yeah, I wouldn't have thought about that, but man, what happens when you need an emergency vet? Let's check out this user journey. Travel with your cats for a relaxing trip. Make it fun and memorable. Browses online and can't find pet-friendly stays. Really good job including the opportunities that you find here. So as UX designers, our job is to spot problems. And sometimes problems are actually kind of hidden as opportunities. It's a problem because it hasn't yet been explored. It hasn't been created as a product. It's an opportunity to solve a problem that hasn't been solved. So this I love to see. These are always really weird. So just a side note for anybody else, if you have gone through a boot camp and they've had you make a user journey and you've made one for every project in your boot camp and then are somehow trying to figure out why you haven't used them outside of the boot camp, it's because most of the time we don't necessarily use these. This requires deep user research and way more customer interactions. If you have created one of these in the boot camp, I would love to hear in the comments if you actually felt like you were making a good one or if you felt like you were just making one because they told you to. So I wonder. So I'm deeply curious. We'll see what happens. See if anybody leaves a comment. No mention of cats. That's right. Browses again to find activities. This is a really good user journey map. I'm not going to lie. For an early career designer, I feel like this is reasonable. This actually accounts for realistic expectations, desires, and experiences. And then, of course, the opportunities can't be overstated. This is awesome. All right, ideation. Before I could jump into designing the app, it was important to figure out what path users would take when they use the app. Oh my gosh, Debbie Levitt just got some wings in the background. Larry Marine just got some wings in the background. Sorry, that sounds like they're dead. They're not. That's an angel kind of thing. Anywho, a bell just rang. It's amazing. And I feel like Debbie and Larry would be very excited to see this. Yeah. So you've sketched out possible user flows, and then you digitally rendered on Miro. Love. Task. Book a pet-friendly stay and find a pet-friendly activity from around the popped-up suggestions. Give me a little bit more detail about that. The offered, oh, okay, so you're saying these are pop-ups in the app that are experiencing this. Okay. Onboarding, blah, blah, blah. Explore, profile, messages, search for destinations. Okay. Stays. Oh, we're not we're not following those. Stays, enter travel details, list of stays, pick your favorite place. Book? No, keep looking. Preview the booking, make the payment, booking confirmation, activities. This feels a little complex, but I also understand this really kind of had to fit in in a slide deck. So this feels reasonable. Me, as someone on the autism spectrum, I'm kind of like having trouble following the lines, but I think it's reasonable to say that you did quite a few iterations of this. I've seen some pretty terrible user flows, and this is awesome. I kind of would like to see an alternative with a list of the steps taken in order to achieve what's here. But that's not what we've taught you to do in these boot camps. So no worries. But this is good. I like this idea. I would like to make sure that you'd be able to talk through this effectively. This is something that could be presented as part of your portfolio review or portfolio presentation when you go for an interview. And this feels a little convoluted. So I am hoping that somewhere on your Miro or on your Figma, you have a little bit more spaced out, a little bit more logical version of this. This is great for your portfolio case study, make it easy to process. But it would also be great to be able to walk through it with someone in a little less overwhelming way. With an understanding of the research you've done so far with emphasis on the pain points, took first steps towards visualizing the app. I love seeing these. Now, this also helped me think about content structure and designing seamless navigation. That's helpful. Let's see what else we have. You gain 100 points. Interesting. Tell me more about your points. That is a gamification thing, and it's interesting what you decided to do with that. Now I'd like to know. Okay. Love it. Wireframes. Okay. Love this. And you've got a link to more screens. Oh, no, you don't. That is a picture. Why does that say more screens? And then I can't actually see more screens. Let me see it. I want to know. Also, people are going to want to click on that. And it's frustrating to find out that this you expected to click more screens and go to a Figma. So I would delete that from the image and re-upload the image and maybe have an indication of go check this out on Figma if you want to. The simplicity of the wireframes allowed me to quickly iterate and test ideas at a rapid pace without being distracted by the appearance. Yes. Testing summary. Okay. This is super helpful. 7 users within my target demographics. Thank you for doing more than 5. Overall goal was to provide an optimal user experience. Nope. What is the overall goal of the testing? What is it that you wanted to learn from the testing? Is that an image? Okay. All right. That's fine. This looks good. Prototype UI style guide. This is super cute. I don't remember from your from your homepage if you intended to do any UI design or just UX design. This is something that, like, I appreciate it. It's not totally necessary, but it looks really good. The final product. Ooh, these look really good. This is a really good layout of the screens. Figma prototype. This is great. Conclusion. Learnings. There's always room for more iterations. Don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Trust yourself. Okay. Challenge the status quo. Come up with a design that differs from a top-rated app on the App Store. Thoughtfully reuse design patterns. Okay. Honestly, Komal, this is phenomenal. I feel like you have spent a ton of time on this. Now I want to click. Okay, it went straight to the front. I was like, is it there? Is it secretly there? All right. Hello. The why. I always want to know if those are linked. Let's craft the extraordinary. Let's connect. You've had skills, values. Yay. This is amazing. What? Look at this. This is so fantastic. What a great use of a great, what does that say? Best viewed on desktop. No, I feel you. Oh, okay. That's very interesting. I appreciate you saying it. Especially if someone's like, hey, I can't see this on my mobile phone. Sometimes it's not always optimal to be on the mobile phone. And I know your stuff is here, but I feel like I've been going on forever and ever. Komal, this looks fantastic. You've also got a bachelor's degree in computer science and a role as a software engineer at Adobe. You're going to do really awesome. I feel like you've had a bit of a, I don't want to make this sound bad. I feel like you've had such a bit of a leg up by being a developer and already working with technology and with software. So you kind of already knew what you were looking for when you started creating your portfolio and started working on your projects. That's awesome. I know not everybody has that, so I don't want anyone who's looking at this and going, oh my God, I don't have developer experience. I can't do this. You can totally do this, and you're going to do a great job. It's just going to take time. So if you're looking at this and thinking, I am really envious of Komal's portfolio and how she put this together, she's worked in software for over 6 years. She has plenty of experience with technology and has been able to apply things that she's already seen and known about in order to create the portfolio that she's proud of. So please know that I guarantee this took like 20 iterations, and you too will be able to refine your portfolio to a point where you'll be really excited about it. Come on. I hope you find work soon. I'm really excited for you. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I appreciate when you come and view these early career designer portfolio videos. I would love to hear your feedback in the comments. Please don't feel like you're going to offend me or anyone else. Your questions and your thoughts are so important. I'm literally doing this so that I can help other early career designers. I actually should share my BHAG. We're going to put this like secretly at the end of a video. I'll talk about it sometime in public later. I'm going to do, I guess, a webinar on this, but my personal big, hairy, audacious goal is to help 1,000 early career designers find their next level of success and socioeconomic status in the next 3 years. So if you could share this video with one of them, or maybe encourage one of them to get in touch, it would bring me so much joy. I want to see more people succeed in design and not fewer. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week. Have a fantastic rest of your day.